Hello, Internet. Thank you once again for joining me to talk all things vertical drama. Now, you won't know these faces, but these are very, very important people, particularly in my life, because if you've watched my Instagram recently, you've seen that I've discovered my favourite vert of all time, which is called In Other Words, I Love You. These lovely, wonderful people are the creative brains behind it. First Tone Productions. So obviously, having loved the vert, I was like, can I talk to anyone and everyone involved and just find out more about it? So I'm going to let them introduce themselves to you, the Internet.
Yeah, hello viewers. My name is Hui. I'm the director of First Tone Productions and also one of the directors of In Other Words, I Love You. But thank you very much, Jane, for inviting us for this interview because there are so many people you can talk with besides us. So many brilliant minds behind the show. Well, I'll pass to Hao for now.
Hi, everyone. I'm the co-director of First Tone Productions and the co-director of In Other Words, I Love You. Together along with Hui, and we were the duo of the show. And what about us? We both come from China. We both went to London Film School together, and we were in the same cohort. That's the fancy name we give to our our term. Basically, we were classmates, and then since then we started First Home Productions. In actually, our anniversary was like around today.
Around.
No, we started the company in November 2021, and at the beginning we were doing some more like client-facing sort of corporate stuff, but then obviously we're both hardcore filmmakers, wannabes, and then Vertical just came along and we just started getting involved. Yeah, and you mentioned before the interview that you want to know how we actually came onto the vertical world, and I guess I have to mention the other great mastermind behind the show, which is Lanka. We are actually from the same province in China, and our films we made before have been screened at the same festival before, and I think, and through mutuals and that festival, that's how we actually met each other. So when verticals started becoming a thing, especially outside of China, I think it was end of 2023, Lanka came to me and she was like, oh, I know you do things, and in the UK have a production company. We would like to make a vertical with you. And then that's when we got the commission of our very first show. It's called My Very Rural Romance, and we made that in February 2024, and that's how we really started.
So I would also recommend people go and check out your Instagram, because I kind of discovered it, and it's kind of, you're one of those production companies that I find they're often good to follow a production company because I know you'll make good things. You tend to have scripts I like. It's just, it'll be well made. So you're already on my radar. And obviously you've made quite a few verticals. What this one in particular, did it stand out to you when you first saw the script? Did you go, we think this might be something special?
Definitely. I mean, we got excited when reading the script. To be honest, because we both work as producers and directors, but when directing, we are a little bit picky on scripts. We really got excited when reading the script. I think I finished reading first before Hao, and I was like, this is definitely the best one we've received so far. There's nothing. I mean, it's not the usual vertical drama genre topic, but it's very unique. There's nothing too over dramatic. Everything makes sense, and you kind of can get how the two main characters growing during the story. Like, it's just great. And and that's have to mention that from our favorite script workshop, Beacon Hills, who is based in the US. Yeah, big fan of them.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I can echo everything because I remember. So how it came along was, I think, we were filming Rumor Has It, and we were just in. I mean, it was all a bit, it was all a bit of serendipity, really, because we were filming Rumor Has It, and then Lanka on set was just like, I think UK actors are just like, there's something about them, that's so great, and she actually had the idea of creating something that's quintessentially UK instead of, because I don't remember, I think rumor has it was setting like transatlantic and everyone was speaking American accent, right? Wait,
Uh,
I think so.
yes,
And
sort of.
yeah, and then she was like, what if we just put the whole story in the UK, and then something quintessential about it was like sort of private school settings and etc. And then she actually went on and commissioned the writers to develop something out of nowhere, basically. And because, a lot of them are adaptations from existing ones and etc. And this is purely original, and that's really rare. And yeah, Hui finished it first, and we were working on the sets, I think, and she was like, "Stop everything you're doing right now and read the goddamn script," because it was just really, really good. And I saw it and I was just wowed by it because um Rumor has it had a great, great script with great dialogues and stuff, but it still
It's
had.
actually, rumor has it actually was adapted, like a remake of another show, which has, yeah. But
But
like
it
you
was.
said, this one is purely original.
Yeah, and it was just like all those snarky and very brilliant dialogues, but together with a very, very cool setup. That's just something kind of mind blowing for us, and of course, we were just like, love it.
And I think the best thing about it is it's not just to create some, straightforward drama we used to see in vertical series. It's more about, I kind of feel I can even it's set in the UK. I studied, I spent my first 25 years back in China, but I can't feel there, the high school life echoes my memory. There's some like you sensitivity, like how a young girl kind of find her own position and just, yeah, find her confidence, stand for herself. Yeah.
Was it always in the script that, because it works really well, that the part of the fish out of water is that Evie's American in an English school, and that instantly brings up stuff because obviously Charles gets to go, well, she might be clever, but that's for an American, and that's such an English thing to say. It works really well. Was that always in the script from the beginning, that it was that setup?
Yeah, from at the time when we were reading it, it was already there. I think apart from like it being a very, English thing to joke on, obviously the main viewership is probably in the US for all verticals at the moment, and I think it's a very clever way of getting those audience to relate to the subject matter or the story in any ways. But yeah, I thought it was a very great setting, great setup.
So I have to now ask about the cast, because the first thing is people might not realise that your Evie, who plays the female lead, is an English actress doing an American accent. And that's her first vertical. And then obviously your male lead, Charles, is Joe James French, who's done a few. How quick was the process of casting them, kind of?
Yeah, so we worked with a wonderful casting director, Matt Shepherd, and I think it was all a lot of things were again serendipity. So for Evie, we received a tape from her for the role of Serena van der Beek. I'm sorry, I have to say the full name because it was so iconic.
Yeah.
So her playing Serena van der Beek, and it was really good. And we were like, yeah, she's brilliant for the role. We were thinking to go with her on that role. But then I think it was something that struck me because like she gave her so many more layers. And I thought, okay, Serena is so relatable now in this version of interpretation. And that's when I started talking to Hui and Lanka. I was like, should we actually try her with the lead, because I think it might surprise us. And then that's when when her tape came, and it was just brilliant, and I think we just went with her straight away. For Charles, I think we did think of a lot of different directions. At some stage we were exploring, you know, different people, but I think it was the tape, because we tried that many times with all the candidates at the time. It was the scene when he was, you know, he had to tell Alice that they need to stop seeing each other, because that was so many subtexts in that scene floating around. You know, he's clearly, he needs to show that he's faking this, but then Alice has to believe that Charles is actually being sincere and stuff. And I think, yeah, Joey's tape just like really stood out for that scene, and that's how we made our decision, I think.
That's a super story, and you did it very, very well. Obviously, I'll come back to the other cast as well. Obviously, you build up the cast, but the other thing that I think is really striking for the viewers is it does feel different where it's set, and you do kind of, I guess it's, first of all, it's a nice change not seeing, because often if you do see a high school, it's obviously just the American high school with the lockers. We don't really have that. It's a very different setting. It looks really different. You get more of that common room feel, which is what I remember from when I was at school, which is really nice. But even just little details like the bus that you show, which is quite a nostalgic kind of touristy English bus. How did you, I guess, make the production designs of how you wanted to look, and sort of possibly slightly lean into a slightly nostalgic view of England?
From beginning, for every production, when we direct, we used to do a like director's lookbook. So the original idea is to make when Alice arrived from America, she feels very like a stranger, totally different from what we used to see in like New York, the typical American city. Also, back then, we already have a lead that we might film this series in this great location, which is more like a rural city, countryside area. So I was thinking, why not? We make it more British, and let's find like it's you can tell it's a bit retro. That was exactly the reference I found at the beginning. Then our amazing producer Alisa just searched online and find exactly the same look bus. Everyone loves that bus. It's just a shame that it's vertical. We cannot show the whole thing. But that did add some atmosphere at the beginning, I believe so. And the location, the main location, including the house and school common room, actually were in one building. It's a one big mansion. It actually came out as an accident. We were filming another vertical that we were producing. In where was it? Biggleswade.
Biggleswade in Shuttleworth House, yeah.
Yeah. So there
Near
was
where Ben grew up, I think. That which
Biggleswade is where I learned to drive, so I apologise to the inhabitants of Biggleswade. So yeah, sorry about that.
That is where we film in Biggleswade is also a great location. We love it. We filmed Royal Romance back there. We were still filming there, and then I read this script. Yeah, that's when we received the script, I got so excited, and I started talk with our production team, our usual production team, saying we need to find some good location for this, and someone recommended this great mansion, which is only 40 minutes drive away from where we were. So the day when I saw the photos of that mansion, I was like, let's go have a look. And the next day, which took 2 hours in the morning, I left the set with one production assistant, also our location manager for this, in other words, I love you. So two of us drove to that mansion and find it, love it, and yeah, change their living room into that common room and where the locker is. It's not it's not a common what you see in US high school drama. You have this big corridor and stuff. I think everything worked nice. It was empty, more like a ballroom or something. But our brilliant production designer and art director brought in those lockers, and we just move props around and add all those little flags to make it more like a school vibe. Yeah, just everything works well together.
Yeah, and just following up on that point, I think the production design in this was actually something like the little details we had. Obviously, we had the school's logo designed from nowhere. We had and then bouncing back the ideas between the costume team and the production design team on how to integrate the color palettes together, etc. Those are, I guess, I hope they showed in the final product, but those are the things I think we did to make it believable, relatable, and real.
No, and it does pop as well. I can still remember the colours. I love the flags. I want the flags, by the way. The other location I want to ask you about, because I think I know where it is, but the wedding at the end, that is a very different location because it's not a typical English church. Sometimes we've seen those in verticals, and it's not outside, which possibly makes sense because it's in the UK. Often vertical weddings are outside. Are you able to share where that was filmed? Because it's stunning, and I think people want to go there.
Do you know where it is? Where do you think it is?
I don't want to say because I don't want to get it wrong on the internet. I just want to go, yes, I was right afterwards. Go on, tell me where it is.
Oh, shall I say it? Well,
No.
Yeah.
It's in Horsley in southwest London, just
West
Okay, I'm
outside.
totally wrong. I thought it was
You're
somewhere in
totally
London.
wrong.
Sorry.
It
I'm
was,
wrong, but anyway, it's very close.
it was right outside of M25. So I think we went to Horsley to scout two places. One of the places was actually where the BBC series Ghosts were filmed at. By the time I haven't seen it, which I binge watched it recently, I loved it so much. That house, we saw it was great. Like didn't suit this too much. Then kind of next door, we just saw this place, and I think we went there to scout the classroom. Right? I think so. We went there because we were like still trying to find the ideal classroom. And then we saw a great classroom place, but then the practical things, always the practical things are, we had to think of every possibility. Hui is, much better than me on this, actually. Just shuffling things around, combination of, okay, how many pages we can fit in a day, then how about this combination, that combination, and then one of the possibilities is if we film this scene there. Now, you're right to think that this location is actually not so typically UK vibes. We actually, when we were scouting and we were doing the recce's, we called it the Moroccan corridor or Moroccan church or something like that. Gave that kind of feeling. But also, I think for Hui and I, we from very early on, we decided that the wedding itself is actually going to be intimate, private, and only, VIPs invited sort of thing, because it's related to their character as well. One of them, like, Charles probably 4 years later has most possibly cut off all the connections with the family, and then Alice, being a very successful writer, probably just wants the inner circle to be there, and just to give it a more intimate feeling and private feeling for that scene. That's what I got to say about that scene.
And one thing particularly I love about that little shall we call it church? It's not a church. It's
Chapel or just
chapel or something. It's from very beginning we were thinking generally when when they were trapped in the big mansion, we would like it more like, because the mansion's color is quite dark, lots of wood panels. It feels like this young spirit got kind of like hold onto the ground. Well, toward the end, when they are getting more freedom and they find what they want to do, and finally this happy ending in the wedding scene, this place feels so vibrant, which exactly is what we wanted. It's just a fits the vibe
so well. That works so well. I love that. Yeah, you're right. It is. It just looks amazing on screen. It's just really different and just is fantastic. So when you approach a project like this, what were the bits that you kind of, I guess, just to give people an insight into as directors, that you looked at the script and you were either like, this is going to be tricky, or this is a pivotal scene? What do you identify as those challenges? For one, I'm thinking obviously having her jump out the window, that's a sleight of camera and there's a bit of stunt action involved. But what else for you?
You're very right. The jump out of window part is the most difficult and most challenging part we found. Mostly when prepping for it, when actually filming, we need to. It's just the sort like all the practical things. We need to make it look real. At the same time, we need to keep the actor safe and no one actually jump out or get hurt. Yeah, for a while we were thinking actually changing the script. It was changed a little bit actually, because it was supposed to happen after what's that word? GE class?
a
PE?
physical.
PE class, and Alice left the PE changing room and she got locked in. We tried so. Oh, by the way, I think we went to Horsley to find the find the gym look room. But it's just the script requests a very specific location layout, because basically she needs to come out of the gym changing room, and she need to be trapped somewhere. There's only one way she can go, and then there needs to be a window she can climb out and jump out. We couldn't get that one, so we struggled that for a while. Then calm down after 2 days, came up with this idea and think, why don't we go back to the mansion and see what we can do with it? And eventually changed it to, it's more like an art school. It's not. I didn't say it clearly where she came from, and she's just locked out of a room, a porch, something. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there was a lot of camera tricks as well. Obviously, when it came to it, and as the camera team and the stunt coordinator, we were just like thinking together, how to make that look again believable. And I think we just put the camera at the right place, and I'm glad it worked. Yeah.
It was just really striking for me as a viewer, because I saw another vertical recently, which I think probably had a much bigger budget, and they were trying to do someone falling off a boat, and they'd kind of used CGI. Actually, it didn't work. It looked worse because it was so obviously a green screen CGI background. And it made me think that actually, almost if they hadn't had the budget to try that, it might have been better to do exactly what you guys do. Obviously, we don't actually see her go out the window, but it's very, very clear that that's what's happened because of the way it's cut. You totally, as a viewer, your brain goes with that. Oh, she's jumped out the window and landed on poor Charles. So I just wanted to kind of praise you in that. I think actually that in a way worked better for the viewer, because in the other one I was brought out of the story because I was like, oh dear, that doesn't look great. Whereas in this, I was like, oh right, she's landed in Charles, and now what's going to happen? So
I think dismantling these sequences into several shots and combine them with editing, obviously that's just basic film grammar. But then I think there are two other tricky scenes like this. I think the one is the Alice getting poured on just exactly before that by the water balloon whole shenanigan, and also the car scene towards the end. And actually that scene, I think I want Hui to talk about it, because I personally blanked out when we were filming that. I was like, this is so difficult to think of the combination of shots, but I think Hui's solution was great.
Yeah.
That was also by doing that, and everything was shot kind of on location, on camera, with minimal
Yeah.
CGIs involved.
Yeah. I think for vertical, the current issue is because we learned the whole process, like the whole workflow of filmmaking. We know how CGI and VFX takes time to do, and it just costs more post budget and time and effort. And consider you probably are very familiar with vertical now. It's always very tight in prep, very tight on filming, and still very tight on post. So consider this. I don't think any company, even you mentioned that's a bigger budget than ours, they won't have enough time to work it properly. So we tend to do everything physically right as much as possible. The window, the jump out the window shot, it was actually on ground floor. It just so happens that house was built on a like slant hill, so some windows are like has a little bit height, but actually the height was just Evie's height. I think it won't hurt her at all. We use a lower angle to show her, like feels like she's really up high, and then cut to the ground and just let them do a little bit movement before they actually lie on the ground. That took a while to rehearsal and film it. As for the car almost hit Alice thing, it's just we actually shot 2 plates, so fixed the camera, and one with only actor, one with only the car. So make sure they two don't interact. But that does give a little. So when the shot of then in the post we put these two together. It's minimum VFX, I would say. It's just a more like what we do. Yeah, put them together. It's more dangerous when actually when we do the shots, you face directly seeing the car coming, and our DP saying no, I definitely not doing this. I'm not standing in front of a car. We were like, yeah, we don't want you to stand in front of the car. So we use the long lens and just leave the camera there and have the car travel from further to closer. But because of the long lens, it works. It feels it comes faster and closer. And no one was hurt. Everyone's happy, safe.
Works as well. I was also slightly distracted by how rubbish the kidnappers are.
I think
she's escaped. Maybe we should do something.
that's actually. So I think that's when, I guess, because we are essentially working off a very, very strong script, and then I think our job made our job easy, but then we still have our job to do, which is, so in the script, the kidnap was for like, if you think of it in a logical way, like how shitty they are to just let her leave. So to kind of justify that, we had them as two very kind of casual kidnappers, and like I think the note we gave to the actors at the time was just like, you're just doing it like casually, you're not here to hurt anyone, you just like, you got paid to do this, but you also don't enjoy it very much, so that you didn't.
And they got distracted by watching vertical drama on their phones.
That was the on-set joke. They were actually binging verticals on their phones, and they were they were just and then they escaped, and even the knots was not very tightly put there and stuff like that. So we had to do those small things. And another example I kept thinking back was about how, how we work as a team, because you were mentioning we were talking about the scene where the balloon fell and she got all wet. That was because it was at the beginning in the script, it just says water poured down like from a bucket. But then talks about it with the art team, and they said balloon is the great like thing, like it would actually work practically. And then we did some tests, and we thought actually instead of bucket of water, a balloon, to see the balloon itself could be like, an amateurish kind of thing being there. It would be great. But
Yeah.
then another example I wanted to share was like, I remember on set, there were times we were just like, thinking like a team. There were, that line Charles keeps saying, don't tell me what I, God, what is it?
What I need to do.
Don't
What
tell
I
me
should
what I
do.
need to do. That was, I think, like one of our proudest moments was actually, um, they were having a little very fun cute moment in the kitchen, and it was not in the script, but then like there was a scene that needed to be ended, and we were like, okay, the camera can go up, and then we were like just trying to come up with several lines to fill that space. And then I think I just all of a sudden I was like, you guys improvise something, and then I was like, hang on a second, put that line there, and it would make it fun, and it will make that line come out even better. And there was a moment our DOP suggested how to make a line work better, took it on board. I think really directors just work with everyone, take everyone's offer on board, whereas you still keep that control in your mind, but then take on board as much as you can from other people, because people we work with are brilliant professionals.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. When you've got an amazing team of people, just empower them to bring everything you can, like add in all your ideas. You've led on beautifully to the next thing I wanted to ask you about, which is, I think, something I know as fans we all really appreciated. So there's a lot of great dialogue in this. There's, long conversations. There's a really fun bit at the beginning where there's a whole debate about William Golding, which feels really unusual for a vertical. Just out of all the dialogue, were there any favourite scenes or favourite bits that you particularly loved?
You're thinking, Shai.
Yeah.
I'm actually thinking as well. I think the whole part in like, I think I laughed out at the Chewbacca part when I first read it.
Yeah.
It was actually I was just like, this is great. But also I think a lot, because I did study literature for university. Everything that had a literature reference, I just loved them so much. But yeah, Hui, did you want
So
to?
as you mentioned Chewbacca, I think that wasn't the original line, actually. We tweaked it a little bit because
I wanted to
to do
ask, because you used the word snog rather than kiss.
yeah,
Well,
That
no,
is
it
so
was
English. And I was
no,
like,
it
don't
was
tell me that
actually
an American sent you that
yeah.
script.
okay. Don't hate us, Lanka, Bacon Hill, anyone. I think it was I think the original word was the F word,
Yeah.
and
I was like,
Hui picked it up and thought it was too harsh, and made it a bit
and
distasteful.
made him a little bit, yeah.
Yeah,
We
and
don't want to push, yeah. You go.
yeah, and no, I was like, I think Hui raised this very early on to the team, to the the executive team, and mentioned that. And also I think Matt, our casting director, mentioned that bit as well. So, and then we had a long list of words, shag was one of them, unfortunately, and then kiss was one of them, but then for some reason just settled on snog, and I'm very happy about it.
Yeah, it's more British, and I think it's more suitable for this character. And I have to admit, I never read Lord of Flies. Yeah. I got this book. I need to start reading now. um,
Well, you've
my
kind of had you've had the ending ruined for you by the movie. You know what happens now.
yeah, that's that's true. I've heard about critical thinking about this book from both sides already. Yeah. For me, actually, not literal related to all the literature lessons. I think my favorite part was the lines when we actually the sides I picked for casting. That what's
Charles,
our character?
Charles,
Charles.
Charles
Charles.
Riley.
Our brain doesn't work. So Charles said twice, "This is my home, my house, my world. Everything's mine." First time is when he met Alice in the house, catch her from the bookshelf falling. The second time was when he actually invited Alex into his world when after the power cut. I love this bit very much because he's saying the same line, similar line, but means very different, and that's a between twist about the relationship between them. So I definitely love those bits.
Yeah, that's all right. And actually, that's one of the things where the script works so well because, as you said, it's that really good writing that then echoes back. Because
Yeah,
even the fact that obviously Charles has his sort of catchphrase, "Don't tell me what to do," by the end, she slightly teases
yeah,
him about it, like, "Oh, you're going to say your thing again," and just even the things about the fact that when she gets locked in again, she's like, "This is getting old,"
Yeah.
and it kind of
yeah,
slightly
yeah, yeah.
slightly
Yeah.
playful about that and like
Yes,
laughing
yes,
at
yes.
itself.
Absolutely, because those tropes we've seen so many times in everything, you know, like someone getting lost in somewhere. And then just the fact that they were able to make fun of it and make it a conscious choice and like, yeah, this is getting old was actually I love that line very much.
Yeah,
I think sorry.
yeah, I actually talked with Hao when before before we start shooting, I was reading the script again and was like, yeah, this bit did get old. Do we need some new tricks? Then later I actually think that works actually better for the story because they are like high school kids. They don't mean to hurt anyone. And those are just tricks. They don't need to compete for different tricks like a gig or something.
Like an upgrade for the tricks.
Yeah, and also I think that's also why we make the kidnap thing, the two kidnappers are not so serious because they are not like that evil. It's just a mistake during in that age they will make. They just want to hold. Rena just want to keep Alice away from what she likes. Yeah,
It makes much more sense as well that Serena does not have like a hotline to like some top, hoodlums, but instead it's probably some random bloke she's found in the park. You're like, all right. That's what I liked. I have to say as well, actually, I think that was when I knew it was brilliant. I think it was that scene when Charles catches her in the library and then unceremoniously drops her on the floor. That was when I was like, oh, this is good. This
yeah.
is good because we're expecting them to do the big eyes. And he's like, yeah, anyway, that scene is the best. I also have to praise you two because some people make cameos in this.
Yeah, I think we both love our cameos. We had an inside joke because every vertical we've made, for the first several, the ones we produce and direct, Hui has always been a nerd. She had a very iconic line in the first one that says, "You're having a royal baby, Ari." That
Yeah.
till this day the team still jokes upon that, and I think yeah, we just love doing that.
You were a lovely reporter. You were very friendly.
He
You were very
he is.
clever because you were disarming and charming, but actually kind of pushing it with the personal questions. So that you
You
were
know what, Jen? That was the first thing we did for this show. So start with Hao and Evie. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It was Hui. I think Hui directed that scene very well because I am currently trying to make a film where I also play the main character, and that was actually a good testing ground. I think it failed. I think I was just like blanking out. Oh my god, what are my lines? But then I think it probably will be difficult in real life when I'm making that short film. But then, like, I was just focused so much on my things to say, and then Hui was actually giving very, very useful notes. So thank you. But then also I was talking to my partner, and I was like, should I channel some Ross Matthews into this? Make it a big, big, fun, gay sort of person. We were like trying to prepare for the character a little bit, but yeah. But you've now mentioned growing up. I just want to say this before it was too late. I love you asking me what are my favorite dialogues. Which I kind of had a little think about it and gave a sort of generic answer, but the scene I loved the most was definitely after when they grew up. Obviously, Hui mentioned many times it's about growth. Like that's what really makes it wonderful. And I just thought the actors did such a wonderful job for that scene.
Do you mean
We
the scene where they meet and kind of shoot opposite, sort
reconnected,
of revealed he is the
reunited.
sponsor?
Yeah.
Yeah, when they were in the restaurant, and you know that scene was just. It was what I watched back, and I thought the ability of the actors to deliver it so precisely was shocking. Because I think we had a chat with them before the scene started. We knew it was going to be a long scene. We're going to shoot it like in a long like way that we don't disturb them quite often. It was delivered with such elegance and precision, especially because we shot that scene with actually because they were looking down the barrel. A lot of times there was a shot reverse they were actually looking into the lens. So essentially they were acting without a scene partner when they were doing that setup, and the ability of delivering it on that level was just incredible. So credits to them, and please tell them about this tomorrow.
The thing that really struck me as well was just the way that they slightly altered their posture, and that you did feel they were older. You did feel
Yeah.
the way Evie held herself as, she just looks older. She's more confident. Just, yeah, it was really, really clever. It was brilliant. So obviously you have an amazing team. You make a project. Obviously you finish a project, you move on because you're doing other things. I know this is filmed in the summer, maybe you're traveling, hopefully having a bit of a break. What is it like? How soon did you get told when it was coming out, and kind of what is it like preparing for it and then seeing something come out and what an audience reaction is?
This one is particularly longer than others, I would say. The post-production was finished quite early. So we finished filming in early May. Then post-production was done in mid-June, I believe. But it got released much, much later. I think that's because we as a production service company, we're not in control of all the distribution and stuff. So I believe they have some internal decision to make. And yeah, that's not completely in our control. But it's good to see that it got released in 3 different platforms, and hopefully this one can get more viewers.
Which I think is just to explain why I got a bit emotional with this, because we know that some of the verticals that can grab the big numbers are what I would call more the blockbuster vertical.
Sorry?
I would call them like a blockbuster vertical. The Hollywood sink, it's not subtle, everything's thrown in. It's got the more that sort of title. It does what it does. It will bring a lot of people in, but it's kind of, you watch it, you move on. Because it's quality movie, which in my head could be on the BBC, just happens to be a vertical. But I think for keen fans, actually, there is an appetite beyond that to watch something of more this quality that was this amazing.
I think I'll leave that to the to the audience to decide at the market. But yeah, I don't want to get emotional saying this, but I think at least personally, I would rather work on something that's beautiful and nice without expecting it to be a blockbuster one, but like if it can create some level of resonance within people, really truly appreciate it, like this one did, I think I'm content and proud enough. That's for me. I'm not saying this on behalf of Hui, but I think she probably believes the same.
Yeah, no, I'm completely same with you. I like to do something we love, we enjoy to work on. I'm not saying when I say sad, I'm not saying I feel miserable about this at all. It's just saying, I think vertical is quite new format. Blockbuster does have their how to say attractive parts because all those fast pace and all those drama keep coming up. Yeah, I would say yeah, but we prefer to do something like more emotionally we can engage on much more than that. But I mean, I watch some blockbuster myself as well. And kind of like feel still learning from them because I don't know how I feel recall that when we were in film school, the tutor, very first lesson, the tutor told us saying filmmaking is about how it's not how much it's like writing an article. It's not about how much you can write. It's about how concise you can do with only a few shots. So I think those the blockbusters, they are good at telling a very dense story within there are so many things happens. It can be extended if you think of a normal traditional drama way. It can be extended for so long, but it's a great ability to make them so condensed. And I think it's a trend that it's non-stoppable. And I don't know if in Western market it exists or not, but in Chinese social media there are some even shorter version than vertical dramas. It's like 5 minutes talk through a vertical series.
Wow.
To make it, makes so they basically use a few shots from one episode and just explains what's happening and then keep going on. I sometimes watch those kind of videos and get, oh, that's interesting. I may go find the vertical series to see it. Yeah, it's just something works for current like short attractions works for the audience and the mobile device users, I guess.
So my next question is, so I'm going to link below. So obviously, hopefully everyone's watched In Other Words, I Love You, then go watch it again and again, like I have. Obviously you have other shows as well, so I'll link them all down below as well that have come out in vertical. But going forwards, are there any exciting projects you can share with us or you'd like some eyes on?
Recently, vertical projects, no. How has a personal project coming up? It's
Yeah,
not related.
I have
Your
a
pitch now. This is your moment.
no. I just have a personal project. It's not in the vertical world. Do you want me to pitch?
Yes, do your pitch now. This is it. This is what the internet's for.
Okay. I'm trying to make a short film. It's going to be shot horizontally, but it's a sort of rom-com. I would say comedy drama about a chunky gay Chinese newcomer in London who learns English one hookup, one word per hookup. Oh my god, I ruined it. You know what I mean though. It's just learning English through sex and meetups, and it's called Vocabulary. Very personal project. But I think but I think sorry, forget about the pitch. Definitely bombed that. But going back to what Hui was saying, I think it's actually we as directors, these are actually very precious opportunities for us to grow. And I do know, some people tend to think, oh, verticals. But then to have the chance to keep making things, sharpen yourself as a director, as a producer, as whatever, it's actually quite precious. Especially if you're directors, you probably wouldn't have the chance to make something on this scale that soon after you start your career. I think it's been really beneficial for the both of us. Yeah.
Well, as a viewer, I just want to say thank you so much, because you were responsible for some truly wonderful projects, in particular this one. So yeah, just thank you so much for all your insights and just some of the fun behind the scene things you've revealed. Yeah, and that's it really. Just thank you.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you.
And say hello to Evie and Joey first.
Yeah.
Yes, dear viewers, after you watch this, we then have an interview with the male and female lead. So yeah, Evie and Joey. So that will be coming up after this on the playlist. So keep going.
Lead, I don't know if you noticed Joey posted something on Instagram saying volume check. You must ask him about that.
Okay, this is what I need to know. Thank you very much. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Volume track. Don't miss that. Definitely.
Okay. This is what I need, the inside scoop. You two are the best. Thank you. Okay.